I just want to apologize if you have trouble understanding me. I'm still getting over a cold. So hi, I'm Jean Manuel. I'm running for Social Awareness Coordinator. One of the big reasons for running for this position actually is something that happened before I even came to UCSD. I have two older sisters. Both of them were very involved in social justice movements at their colleges. And when they came home to visit, they would tell me about all the work they did, and it was really inspiring because it's stuff that they're issues that revolved around the Filipino community. And growing up, wherever I was, the Filipino community was always very small. Even though my high school was full of minorities, I was the minority of minorities. So when my sisters came home and told me these stories, it was just something that really amazed me, and I just couldn't wait to get involved in aspects like that when I went to college, and that was one of the reasons why I joined board this year as Gender and Sexuality Awareness Coordinator. As Gen Sex, I was exposed to the SAAC space, and it became a place that I appreciated more and more throughout the year, because KP, it gave me the Filipino community, and SAAC gave me just a community of underrepresented and underserved students. When I first walked onto this campus, my sister, the first thing she noticed was the lack of color. And she said to me, she's like, "Can you handle that? Because I grew up in a place where there's always people of color." And so I was just like, I don't know if I can handle that. So when I found KP, I was so happy, because I was like, these are my people. And then going into SAAC, it was even better, because it was people who, they're from different backgrounds, but they share the same struggles as us. And these two spaces are what made me so comfortable here at San Diego. They greatly helped my transition here. My fall quarter here was really hard, and joining KP board really helped me. It really grounded me in this place. And being in SAAC and KP fostered a growth that I really didn't know I had the potential to grow this much in such a short amount of time. So I want to give back to those spaces, and I want to do the same thing that these spaces have done for me, for others, for other fresh people or people that are new to these spaces. Okay, thank you, Jim. Questions? Chris?
In past years, KP has been criticized for the lack of support in the SAAC space. How do you plan to help KP become more supportive in the SAAC space?
I definitely feel that. I felt that this year. Whenever there was collaboration with the core orgs of SAAC, I always saw the least support from KP members, and it was a little bit heartbreaking. But I know that in the KP space, SAAC kind of sounds scary to a lot of people, especially fresh people who don't understand what SAAC is about. People who maybe they didn't have the resources to learn about our past struggles, about our history, our roots. So it's really scary for them, because they don't understand their own Filipino identity, and for them to not be able to identify with that, and then they're being asked to identify with other people who are also struggling. That's difficult for them. So I know SAAC could be scary. One idea that I was thinking was that for all of the SAAC events that we've had this quarter, they're always about feeding our members facts, trying to get them to go to rallies or protests, all those type of events. And something that I thought would be really helpful for KP specifically is a SAAC social. Because just potluck, community building. Because if you don't have people to care about in a specific community, why will you support them? So if you make friends in those communities, it's so much easier to come out for them, because you're going for them. Because if I had no friends outside of KP and I was in SAAC, I'd feel really uncomfortable. I wouldn't understand why I was there. So a SAAC social is just one of many things that I want to work on, because I really want to get KP invested more in SAAC and have KP be more respected within SAAC. Okay.
myself, Carl, and then Elisa.
So a current issue that happens every year, or so far that I think in the past few years, an issue has always been the visibility of SAAC events and also just like political issues and trying to get that through the KP space. And another reason why GPMers are always so either shocked or surprised or not showing their support for these events is because they just don't know. How would you, in your position, make these more visible starting in the beginning of the school year and helping us learn with you what these SAAC events are and the issues that you really want to talk about through the KP?
Definitely board support and networking, because politics, of the 5 pillars, politics, I believe it crosses over a lot with the other pillars, because like all of us are suffering, like through academics, because like maybe in high school they didn't have the resources for the academics, or maybe they didn't know about their cultural identity, right? So board support for one thing, because people go out to like the more social events, but still, you know, giving them reminders that there are more things than just the social events. Also, networking as encouraging our members to attend other excuse me, SAAC core org meetings. Sorry. And also having people from different orgs, you know, stopping by, coming to KP, so that they can get more familiar. Like, oh, you know, like I've never seen them before. Why they here? Like, oh, you know, they wanna tell us more about their org and stuff like that. I know it's been a big issue, but definitely networking across the core orgs in SAAC and getting my fellow board members to definitely, you know, support, spread the word, advertise.
Okay, Elisa?
So based on my experience, the support for JFAV has kind of lessened ever since last year compared to how I came in doing it my first year. In what ways do you plan on educating KP and I guess the larger community about JFAV and getting support?
Well, I know from outside of the KP space, I know that we can gain more support for JFAV through SAAC. For the KP space specifically, I believe educating people is the most important part, because if people are going out to a movement and they don't understand what they're protesting, it's ridiculous. Like, why are you here? You might as well just be like an empty body somewhere else. Like, they're pretty much taking up space, right? So, one of the co-coordinators for social would be community activism advocate. Community activism advocate, I would want to work more closely with them so that they can reach out to orgs that deal specifically with JFAV, so that they can have speakers come to GBMs, and because I know we had a GBM about JFAV, and like we showed a video, you know, like we showed pictures of past protests, but if we got speakers who like, this is like their daily job, I think it would be really good, because people, like, you know, there's something different about that, because like they can stir emotion in our GBMers. They can make them understand better. Like, this is what happened to your grandparents. Like, this is affecting them now.
Okay, questions? Yes.
So a lot of the criticism from the community, especially from the SAAC community about KP, is that we're not down enough. So my question is, what is your definition of activism, and what is your understanding of the different levels of activism? And what do you think KP's level of activism is?
Okay, so my personal opinion.
There you go.
I was like 7. So my personal opinion on KP's activism within SAAC, I feel like political activism in KP falls to the responsibility of very few, and that's not how it should be, because like we aren't just okay, so I know there are certain people who join KP for certain aspects, but I really want people to focus on all 5 of our pillars, because these pillars don't stand alone. Like, they intersect so much. And I totally feel you on that, like, when they're like, oh, like, where's the support from KP? And it sucks. But honestly, like, I think it goes back to, again, board support and networking. Because if it's obvious that in my position, or like my co's, like, or like my potential co's would be like Gen Sex and community activism advocate. If it's obvious that like we are trying our hardest, then like, you know, in the SAAC space, they need to respect that. But they also need to respect that not all communities can talk about politics and struggles so openly, especially the Filipino community, because we are a community that's always been so hushed. And I think translating that to them, communicating that clearly, and telling them like we are trying, that it will come up, it will be clearer. There will be more transparency in SAAC between the different cohorts. And also, you know, like asking for the other SAAC reps' help, and you know, like how do you think we can better, how do you think we can get our community to come out more? Like, you know, can you help us, because what we're doing may not seem effective. So like, you know, if someone, in my opinion, if someone has a criticism, then I think they should also help create a solution.
Okay. There's room for one more question. Larry?
What do you think the most pertinent issues, what are the most pertinent issues that the Fil-Am community at UCSD faces today?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
What are the most pertinent issues that the Fil-Am community at UCSD faces today?
I definitely think our biggest issue is visibility. Because if people don't know we're here, then they won't understand our struggle. They won't understand like what our ancestors have gone through. Being only 4% of this, like, of the student body is, when I found that out, I was shocked, but then afterwards I was like, I shouldn't be too surprised. Like, how many Filipinos do I see here? So definitely visibility, because like, I don't know. Okay, so you know, people will be like, oh, I can't even tell like what your ethnicity is. The fact that people are just like, oh, you don't even look Filipino, or like when someone says like, what is Filipino? I'm just like, are you, look at a map, like, are you serious? And just like with that ignorance, and then the small population that we are here is even more difficult, because it's like we're already so small on the map, and then we're even smaller here. We're such a small concentration in such a big place where like I would hope that there's diversity, but really the only diversity I find is in SAAC. So yes, visibility is the most important issue, because without it, we can't address our other issues. We can't get other orgs to hear our voices. We can't expect people to help us if they don't know that we're here.
Okay, thank you, Jane.